Hello, everyone. I think you're going to have lots of fun with our painting today. It is day 4, and we are painting this simple, easy, whimsical wreath. And for today's painting, we just need to trace a circle. I need to get more circular objects that I can trace because this one's a little awkward, but it's what was handy. So just do a nice little circle. You can draw a circle if you're good at freehanding it, whatever you'd like. And I'm just going to take my kneaded eraser and just lighten that line a little bit. Probably not a necessary step, but I wasn't sure if everything was going to cover the line. Okay, I'm using a size 2 brush for this whole painting, and I'm just going to start laying in some ornaments. The color I'm using to start off with here is Madder Red from my Meliong paint set. And I'm just kind of putting them here and there. I would recommend you use like the triangular method. I don't even know if it's really a method. I don't know if it's something or if I made it up, but either way, I'll show it to you here in a little bit. So see, I'm making, this is my second kind of bigger one. You see those two larger ones, and then I'm doing one more down here. And so you can see it kind of makes a triangular shape. And I think this is a really good way to start because then you can just kind of fill in here and there. And you'll notice that I am putting some of the circles on the line, some of the circles outside the line, and some inside the line. So I'm not trying to go around in a perfect circle, obviously. We're just kind of making a fun, whimsical little wreath today. And you'll also notice that some of the circles look pink, some of them are darker red. If you're new to watercolors, the way you achieve that, it's all the same color, you just add more water if you want it to be a lighter color. And much of this painting, if not all of it, is just a matter of putting in our circles, maybe taking a little step back and seeing what you've got, and just kind of fill in where it looks and feels good to you. I think I'm done here, but then I'm like, oh, one more up here. And you might do more or less on your first go around for your first color, but try all of that thoroughly before we do our next one. I don't intend to have any of my other colors like touch my red, but just it's a good idea to just have everything dry in case they touch, because then it'll just kind of blend, which you might want that effect, but I am not going for that. So you can see I started with those 3 green in the triangular shape, and now I'm just going to fill in the spots just like we did with our red. This color is called emerald green. You can see that one's much darker than the other ones, and that is by design. I like the different sizes that we have and the varying shades of each color. And so that's how I'm doing it. You can see doing little guys here and bigger ones and just some placement. I end up using 4 colors altogether. You can do as many or as few as you wish. I'm actually going to borrow some color from this really dark one and add it to this one that was just a little too light for my liking. I really think this particular card would be a fun one and a very easy one to do multiple cards in one go. So just lay out 3, 5, 10, however many cards, and then draw your circle on each one. While you've got your red paint out, put those circles on, dry them all, then do all your green circles or whatever colors you're using. It would just be a really fun way to get a lot of cards done. Okay, I dried everything there, and now I'm coming in with yellow green, and this is going to act as our greenery on our wreath. So the first 2 colors those are my ornaments, and now I'm going to add 2 more colors, and it's going to be all the greenery. I'm going to speed you up through this because it's really just filling in the white spaces until you like what you see. And so this is my first green, yellow green, drying that completely. And now I'm coming in with tree green, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just dotting in all in the white spaces, leaving lots of white space as well because I think it looks good. Slowing you down here just a little bit to show you that I'm intentionally kind of making some of the greenery go rogue, if you will. And so it's not a perfect circle, not that it was, but you know what I'm saying. So just keep filling in here. And back to doing multiple cards at once. You could do that with any of the cards in this 12 Days of Christmas series. It would just, this one just feels like kind of the easiest one so far anyway. And it would just go really fast. And you could send out some handmade, hand-painted originals to people for Christmas this year, either as greeting cards or you could put them in a frame as a really nice gift. You've got lots of options with these. And it's just a nice money-saving thing as well because you've got the supplies already. You're just doing handmade gifts, which I think people appreciate anyway. All right, I wanted to add some words, but I don't trust my handwriting, so I am going to use a stamp that I got, thankfully, at a secondhand craft store that we have. So I got it for 25 cents. And I do have fairly good handwriting, but I don't do a good job trying to space it and everything like that. So I'm just going to stamp this on here, and then I'm going to go over it with a pen. So I want my stamp to be nice and light, and so then I can go over. It doesn't matter. It can be dark too, and then maybe you don't have to go over it, but I kind of like how you can see the pen, so it just feels less like a stamp. I'm using a micron pen. You can use any pen you have at this point. We're not painting over this. It doesn't have to be waterproof, so use what you've got. You could use a colored pencil. You can use markers, whatever you have. I'm showing you here on these first two letters just how slowly I'm going because I do want it to look nice, and so I am just taking my time, but I'll speed you through because you don't need to see me tracing letters. And I ended up going over it one more time just to make it a little bolder. Okay, we're already almost done with this one. I have a white gel pen, and I will zoom you in here a little bit so you can see more closely what I'm doing. I'm just putting a reflection on every single one of the ornaments. And you can see I'm just doing kind of like a little parentheses or a comma in each one to indicate a little reflection. Gives maybe a little dimension. This is really a whimsical painting, so we're not trying to be realistic, but it also adds some contrast, which I really like. I love the pop of white on some of the darker colors. I think it just adds just a little more whimsy and cuteness. So get those the way you want them, and then our final touch, I've got my fine liner, my black pen again, and I'm just going to trace around all of the ornaments, which I absolutely love. And I would say probably for most of them, I just go around one time. I'm not trying to make them extra scratchy this time, even though I love that look. I love that look. But some of them I do go around them a couple times. Some of them I go around several times. So you can just play with it and see what you like to do. I don't even know the word. It just makes them, I want to say the word pop, but it doesn't really make them pop. I don't know. It just defines them a little bit more. Yeah, and once I get these all outlined, we're going to put this one in the books. And you can also put it in the mail if you're sending these out this year. And speaking of mail, do you know I have a snail mail club where I will send you an art print and a sticker that I create once a month for $11 if you want to sign up. It's super fun. I'll put that link in the description if you want to check it out. But either way, whether you're a member of my snail mail club or you're sending out your own snail mail, I hope you have so much fun with this, and I will see you tomorrow for day 5.